Madeline Mead here from Art 180 of the University of Delaware. Today we'll be observing, analyzing, and learning from the moving images captured by photographer Lee Jeffries. Jeffries is an accountant from Manchester, UK, who has a love of watching the game of soccer. He set out on his journey to be a photographer with the goal of being a sports photographer, especially in the game of soccer. But where he ended up in photography was on a very different end of the spectrum. According to the photographer, his destiny shifted due to a chance meeting with a homeless girl in the streets of London who was huddled up in a sleeping bag. He had stolen a picture of her, but then, when they engaged in conversation, his whole outlook on human beings, society, and photography changed as a whole. He now focuses on, and is recognized for, his images of the homeless from various metropolitan areas. He has traveled around to many of the big cities in the UK as well as in the United States, and everywhere he goes, his models for his art are the people living on the streets. Each time, he develops a relationship with them before respectfully asking to take their photograph. Jeffries has stated that he does not wish to exploit the homeless, but rather to honor them with his art and use it as a voice for their struggles. In his ethically evaluative photographs, this bond he has with the models is evident and comes through clearly. His images are taken in a way that seems to tell a story. People often describe his images as haunting, as if by looking straight into the face of someone they could have passed blindly on the street thousands of times, they now not only know, but feel all of their struggles. Jeffries utilizes several photographic strategies to create this effect. The majority of his images are taken portrait style, displaying only the model's head and shoulders. This composition allows for a concentration on facial expressions with a special emphasis on eyes, which can be said to be a window to the soul. Most humans are masters at avoiding eye contact as we walk down a busy street, but it is not so easily done here. Jeffries also controls the background of his images to have little to nothing in them in order to create more emphasis on the face. In this particular photo, Jeffries uses the complementary green from the model's eyes and the red from his hair and cheeks to tie the image together. Although this image is strong in color, it is equally strong, if not stronger, in black and white. In this version of the photo, the artist is able to add more emphasis to the model's freckles, his pout and cold stare, as well as his disheveled head of hair. A black and white color scheme is used in the vast majority of the photos taken by Lee Jeffries. In this particular photograph, we can see how a black and white color scheme adds emphasis to the model's dirty fingernails as well as to her greasy hair. This emphasis prevents the viewer from ignoring the harsh realities of the conditions for those living on the streets. The black and white color scheme can make the viewer subconsciously contemplate subjects such as good and bad, right and wrong, as well as justice and injustice. Black and white, mixed with this harsh lighting, creates an effect where each detail is magnified. In this image, we see the severity of his cheekbone due to hunger. Also, the bandage on his forehead stands out. When distractions such as the noise of a busy street, background images, and even color are taken away, we can focus on the smallest details that would otherwise be overlooked. These details, such as wrinkles, liver spots, and misplaced hairs, now become the most important, the ones that tell the story. I have learned so much from these images and the large difference between this type of image and the ones mostly seen used commercially in this nation. This particular image is not meant to sell you the hat he's wearing, but rather for you to feel his smoky breath and understand. If we were to airbrush away this woman's wrinkles from a long hard life, would this image still make sense? Or would we also change the image to make her simply laughing instead of crying? I believe that beauty does not come from perfection, but rather the perseverance through a life in this imperfect world that we were given. It is not the times that we did nothing that we learned the most, but rather the times that we tried and failed miserably. I don't think anyone can relate to perfection, and that is why these images are so artistically powerful and moving. I would like to thank Lee Jeffries for bringing us, as a people, face to face and eye to eye, with those in society that are simultaneously the most out in the open and easiest to hide and forget about. I think it's time everyone took a long look at these images, because a problem can only be ignored for so long.